Welcome back to Clark's Ring Rants. Let's get straight into today's video. We've got some breaking news in the heavyweight division. Deontay Wilder versus Derek Chisora, signed, sealed, and delivered. Finally, the fight is confirmed. It will happen in London on the 4th of April. It will be promoted by Queensberry and Frank Warren, and it will be at the O2 Arena. So, as I spoke about in a video I did earlier on this week, it seemed as though negotiations for this fight had fallen flat on their face. Chisora was adamant the fight was going to be on Sky and it was going to be promoted by the Sauerlands. Frank Warren came out and did a rebuttal saying that's not happening. He's under contract with me. We saw Chisora and Wilder on FaceTime. They seemed to be signing some sort of contract or whatever, and no one knew what was happening. It looked as though the fight was going to be blocked by Frank Warren. It was dead in the water. It wasn't going to happen. But now I'm waking up this morning. I get the news that Chisora and Wilder will fight and it will be promoted by Frank Warren. Now, I do wonder what Derek Chisora was up to. My theory is now, after the events, maybe he was just trying to get a bit more money out of Frank Warren. He was just bargaining. He was always going to take this fight, but he just wanted to make sure it was financially viable for him. It was the right decision. We all know the Fabio Wardley fight was there for him. It would have been easy to make. Fabio Wardley even said Chisora was the front runner at one time, but the fight didn't happen. Chisora didn't seem too keen on it. Now, what I think has happened here is Chisora's weighed it up. He's got Fabio Wardley. He's young, he's fresh, he's ambitious, he's a massive puncher, he's aggressive. It is for a world title, yes, but it's a very, very high-risk fight, whereas he can fight Deontay Wilder. It's a name brand. It's a former world champion. It'd be a big scalp. He's coming to the end of his career. He's not what he once was. And it'd be an easier night's work for Chisora. I'd give Chisora a much better chance of beating Deontay Wilder than I would of beating Fabio Wardley. So what I think Chisora's done is he's just played Frank Warren off. He was never going to try and push this fight on Sky. He knew that wasn't going to be possible because he's got contractual obligations to fulfill with Frank Warren. He just wanted to see if he could squeeze as much money out of him as possible. And it seems he's got his way. He's been successful with that. And now we're getting the fight. It is being promoted by Frank Warren. But I'm just noticing here on the promotional poster, I can see Misfits Pro and DAZN. So that's interesting. Is it going to be some sort of co-promotional deal? What involvement are they going to have in the show? Are they going to have fighters on the undercard? I'm not sure. I guess we'll see in the upcoming weeks. But finally, Chisora versus Wilder has been announced. Now, as for the fight itself, this is quite interesting and it's quite a unique feat. This will be Derek Chisora's 50th fight, but it'll also be Deontay Wilder's 50th fight. So they're billing this as 100 because 50 add 50, you don't need me to tell you, equals 100. It's going to be Chisora's 50th, it's going to be Wilder's 50th. It's going to be an interesting fight. I think there's going to be some fireworks at the press conference. They're both quite leery characters. We know Deontay Wilder's calmed down a bit in the last few years, ever since his trip to the Amazon. But I reckon Chisora might be able to rile him up and try and get under his skin a little bit and hopefully bring out the best in Deontay Wilder, because that's where most of his knockouts came from. That aggression, that emotion, that anger. He just seemed charged, and that's where he was able to generate a lot of his wins from. Not the biggest guy, he's only 220 pounds, but the power he was able to generate, and I think that's because he was fighting on pure emotion. Hopefully he can roll that back for one last big performance here against Derek Chisora. As for Chisora, fight number 50, he's always said this is going to be his last fight and he wanted a big opponent. He's got one, Deontay Wilder, a former world champion. It'd be a massive scalp if he could win. Now, I know Wilder's washed up. He's not the same as he was a few years ago, but it'd still be a very, very good name on Chisora's resume. And I think he's got that in mind. Ultimately, if he does win this fight, I don't think he'll call it quits there, because he may be in line for a world title shot. He was close already. Fabio Wardley had called him out for a world title. But if he can win this, it's a massive, massive bargaining chip he can take to the table in negotiations. And it might even open opportunities for even bigger fights. So I don't see Chisora walking away from the sport after this fight. As for a prediction and how I see this fight going, I spoke about it in a previous video I did talking about this fight. I think Chisora will win this fight. I would make him a favourite going in. Wilder is not what he once was, and if this fight had been 6 or 7 years ago, I would have backed Wilder as a heavy favourite. But now I think it's just a case of which fighter has got more left in the tank. And Derek Chisora, although he has slowed down, he appears to have a lot more left in the tank than Deontay Wilder does. If we just look at both fighters' most recent fights, Chisora took on Wallin and he beat him quite convincingly, dropping him twice en route to winning a decision. Whereas Deontay Wilder was unconvincing and uninspiring against Terrell Herndon, a guy he would have cleaned out in a round a few years ago. It took him 7. He couldn't pull the trigger. The power wasn't there. The fire wasn't there. He didn't look hungry for it. And before that, he had two, what would you even call them? He was there against Zhang and Parker, but there was nothing. He was only there in spirit. Wilder, I don't think he's got much left. His hunger for the game, not there. He said he's still in his prime. He's going to talk a good game, but I think Chisora is going to win this fight, and I think Chisora might even get to him and stop him. If not, I think Wilder's going to realise early on he can't land the right hand, and he's just going to be in there to survive. So my official prediction for this fight is Derek Chisora points. That's what I'm going to go with. Early prediction, Derek Chisora wins this fight on points. Yes, he could knock Deontay Wilder out. Whether he will, I don't know. I guess we'll see when we get closer to the fight. So those are my initial thoughts. Derek Chisora versus Deontay Wilder, finally announced. April the 4th, O2 Arena, will be on DAZN, will be promoted by Frank Warren. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this a good fight? Which fighter do you favour? Show me some predictions. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.